Your chest tightened when you saw this title, didn't it? Your heart reacted before your mind did. Because somewhere deep inside, you already know this message is about you. There's a reason you're here. There's a reason you didn't scroll. There's a reason this video found you at this exact moment of your life. And if you think that's coincidence, then listen to this next part very carefully. The pain you've been carrying, the heaviness you've been hiding, the nights where you cry without making a sound. They are not random. They are not meaningless. They are not just emotions. They are a signal, a message, a whisper from the one who created your heart. But here's the part people don't understand. Allah only allows the heart to ache like this when He is preparing it for something bigger. And if you leave this video before the end, you will miss the one thing your heart has been trying to tell you for months, or maybe even years. So stay for the next few minutes. Stay even if it hurts to listen. Stay even if you feel like crying. Stay especially if something inside you feels like breaking right now. Because what I am about to say next is the part your soul has been waiting for. And once you hear it, you will never see your pain the same way again. Your pain is not a weakness. Listen. Before anything else, just breathe for a moment. You've been holding so much inside your chest for too long. You've been trying to look strong for everyone. You've been carrying pain so quietly that even the closest people to you don't know what you're fighting through. But Allah knows. Allah heard every silent cry. Allah counted every sleepless night. Allah saw every moment you wanted to break, but didn't. You might not realize it now, but your pain is not a sign that your heart is failing. Your pain is proof that your heart is still alive. Because only a heart that is still alive, still soft, still pure, can feel this deeply. A dead heart does not hurt. A cold heart does not ache. A hardened heart does not break. But your heart still reacts. You still care. You still hope. You still feel love, loyalty, sincerity, and loss. This is not weakness. This is your humanity. This is your soul remembering where it came from. Your soul came from Allah. And a soul that comes from Allah can never be hardened completely, not even by heartbreak, not even by disappointment, not even by the world. You are hurting because your heart still has light inside it, and that light refuses to die. Maybe you've been trying to understand why life feels heavy, why your heart feels tired, why your chest feels like it's carrying something too big to explain. Maybe you've tried to talk, but the words didn't come out right. Maybe you've tried to cry, but the tears weren't enough. Maybe you've tried to pray, but your voice cracked before your lips could form the words. And maybe, just maybe, you thought your silence meant you were losing your connection to Allah. But no, your silence is the language of a tired heart, and Allah understands that language too. Because Allah is not just the Lord of spoken words, He is also the Lord of unspoken pain. The pain you didn't share, He already heard it. The grief you didn't explain, He already understood it. The heartbreak you couldn't put into words, He already knew the story from beginning to end. You are not alone in this. Even when you feel like no one sees you, Allah sees you. Even when your heart is trembling in your chest, Allah is holding it. Even when you feel your strength slipping, Allah is the one keeping your soul standing. You think you're breaking, but Allah is expanding you. You think you're falling apart, but Allah is removing what was heavy for a reason. You think your heart is being destroyed, but Allah is preparing it for something that your old heart could not carry. Sometimes the heart has to break to let the light in. Sometimes you have to lose something to return to Allah. Sometimes you have to feel pain to wake up spiritually. Pain doesn't always mean loss. Sometimes pain is a door. Sometimes pain is a mirror. Sometimes pain is a teacher. You are not hurting because you are weak. You are hurting because your heart is still alive enough to feel, to care, to remember Allah, to want better, to love deeply. This is not the end of your story. This is the page where Allah begins to rewrite you. So, let the pain speak. Let it soften you. Let it bring you back to your Lord. Because a heart that feels pain is a heart that can heal. And a heart that can heal is a heart that can rise again. This is not your collapse. This is your rebirth. Allah does not break without rebuilding. Listen, there is something you need to understand about the pain you are experiencing. Something most people never realize while they are hurting. Allah does not break your heart to leave it shattered on the ground. Allah does not take something from you to leave you empty. Allah does not allow heartbreak, loss, separation, or disappointment without divine purpose behind it. You may be crying right now. Your heart may feel bruised. Your soul may feel like it's carrying a storm inside it. But your pain is not random. Your sadness is not wasted. Your tears are not meaningless. Allah is not breaking you to destroy you. He is breaking you to rebuild you. Just like a seed must split open before it grows. Just like the night must fall before the dawn arrives. Just like a muscle must tear before it strengthens. Something inside you had to break, so something greater inside you could awaken. You may not understand it now, and it's okay not to understand. Healing is not something your mind can always explain. Sometimes your soul understands long before your thoughts do. Sometimes your heart is being prepared for a blessing you are not ready for yet. Sometimes Allah is removing something that was blocking your growth. Sometimes He is cutting ties that were poisoning your peace. Sometimes He is closing doors that were leading you away from who He created you to be. But here is the truth. Nothing Allah removes from your life was meant to stay. And nothing Allah withholds from your life was meant for you. If it was written for you, it would never leave. If it was not written for you, you could not hold on to it no matter how tightly you grabbed it. You may feel like you're losing everything, but in reality, Allah is filtering your life. He is protecting your heart from turning into something cold. He is protecting your soul from attachments that would ruin you. He is protecting your future from people who would have broken you worse. You prayed for peace, didn't you? You begged Allah to guide you, didn't you? You asked Him to protect you from what is harmful, didn't you? So look carefully. Maybe the pain you feel is the answer to your own dua. Sometimes Allah doesn't remove the difficulty. He removes the person. He removes the environment. He removes the attachment. Because the difficulty wasn't the test. The attachment was. And when He removes something that your heart was tied to, it hurts. Yes, it hurts. It hurts deeply. Because Allah is not just removing something from your hands. He is removing something from your chest. But He is not taking to leave you empty. He is making space. Space for something purer, something gentler, something healthier, something your new heart will be able to receive once it heals. Allah is rebuilding you quietly, even now, even with tears in your eyes, even with confusion in your mind, even with silence in your life. You are not being abandoned. You are being reshaped. because Allah does not break a heart unless He intends to rebuild it into something better than it ever was before. Hardship comes with ease, not after it. There is a verse in the Quran that many people know, but very few people truly feel. Indeed, with hardship comes ease. Surah Ash-Shara, Ayat 5. Not after hardship, not later when the pain is over, not someday when life becomes easier. Allah says with hardship, meaning ease is already here, inside the pain, within the struggle, hidden inside the very thing that is hurting you. But because your thoughts are loud, because your heart is tired, because the storm is close to your chest, you cannot see the ease yet. That does not mean it isn't there. Think about the moment before Fajr. The sky is at its darkest, but it is also the closest moment to the sunrise. The darkest moments of your life are often the moments right before Allah lifts you. When the test becomes harder, when the tears become heavier, when the silence becomes deeper, it is not because Allah is distancing Himself from you. It is because ease is approaching, but your heart needs to be softened enough to receive it. Sometimes the ease is not in your situation. Sometimes the ease is in your heart, changing while you go through the situation. Maybe the ease is patience growing inside you. Maybe the ease is maturity developing inside you. Maybe the ease is Allah removing something harmful from you without you realizing it yet. Allah is not waiting for the pain to end to give you mercy. He is giving you mercy inside the pain. Every tear is mercy. Every silent prayer is mercy. Every moment you try again is mercy. Every time your heart turns back to Him is mercy. Your struggle is not separate from your ease. Your struggle is creating your ease. You asked Allah, make me stronger. So He sent you something to grow through. You asked Allah, bring me closer to you. So He pulled you away from what was distracting your heart. You asked Allah, give me peace. So He showed you everything that is not peace, not to punish you, but to teach your heart what peace truly means. Because real peace does not come from the world. It does not come from people. It does not come from comfort or distraction or happiness that disappears. Real peace comes from Allah, and sometimes the only way to learn that is to lose everything else you were relying on. There are moments when Allah holds back what you want so He can give you what you need. There are moments when Allah closes a door, not because the door was bad, but because you were not ready to walk through it. Sometimes the ease that Allah sends is not the ease of changing your life. Sometimes the ease is Allah changing your heart, softening it, healing it, opening it, purifying it, strengthening it, preparing it. Your hardship is not separate from your blessing. Your hardship is part of your blessing. You are not being held back. You are being prepared. You are not being abandoned. You are being guided. Allah has already written the ease. You do not need to chase it. You do not need to force it. You do not need to fear that it will not come, because Allah promised it, and Allah does not break His promises. Your job now is just this. Keep walking even slowly. Keep believing even quietly. Keep praying even tearfully. Ease is already on its way to you. Maybe not in the way you expected. Maybe not in the timeline you hoped for, but in the way your soul needs most. You are not waiting for ease. You are already walking with it. You just haven't reached the part of the story where everything makes sense yet. The tears you cry are witnessed by Allah. There are moments in life when the heart becomes so overwhelmed that words disappear. You want to explain what you feel, but the pain does not translate into sentences. It just sits in the chest, heavy, silent, lonely. And so the tears come, sometimes slowly, sometimes suddenly, sometimes quietly, and sometimes in a way that feels like your heart is pouring out of your eyes. But listen, not a single tear falls without Allah knowing its reason. Not a single moment of your sadness is ignored. Not a single breath you take while holding your pain is unnoticed. You may cry alone in your room, with the lights off, with your face buried in your hands, with no one around you. But Allah is there. He is closer than the grief sitting in your chest, closer than the tear resting on your eyelashes, closer than the thoughts you are afraid to admit. Allah says, I am closer to you than your jugular vein. Quran 50-16. So even before the tear forms, even before your lip trembles, even before the breath breaks in your throat, Allah knows. He knows what hurt you. He knows what disappointed you. He knows who walked away. He knows what was taken. He knows what you wished had turned out differently. He knows the silent battles, the hidden wounds, the memories you carry. And He knows the strength it took for you to continue even while breaking. Your tears are not a sign of weakness. They are the evidence of your heart being alive. Only hearts that still feel deeply cry. Only hearts that still love ache. Only hearts that still believe in goodness break when others are unfair. Your tears are not shameful. Your tears are worship. The Prophet ﷺ told us, no tear falls from the believer except that Allah raises him a level and removes a sin because of it. The world might say, stop crying, be strong, move on, don't feel. But Allah never said that. Allah tells you instead, cry to me, speak to me, unload your heart to me. Let me carry what you cannot. Your tears are a bridge back to Allah, because when the heart cries, it returns to its Creator. Every tear that falls is noticed. Every tear is written. Every tear is heard. There is not a tear that touches your face, except that Allah collects it with mercy. He knows the weight you carry. He knows the strength you are trying to hold. He knows you are tired, incredibly tired, but He also knows that you have not given up. You are still here, still breathing, still trying. And that effort, even when it feels small, is seen by Allah. One day, you will look back at the nights you cried, and you will realize those tears were not signs of your breaking. They were signs of your rising. Allah was healing you through every tear. You just didn't notice it in the moment. Allah removes what was draining you. Sometimes, the hardest pain to understand is the pain of losing something you wanted to keep. A person you loved, a plan you were sure about, a path you thought your life would follow, a comfort that felt like home, a version of life that made sense to your heart. And when Allah takes it away, your heart feels like it's being torn from the inside. You replay memories. You question yourself. You wonder what went wrong. You ask why things couldn't stay the way they were. But I need you to hear this. You did not lose anything that was good for your soul. Allah does not remove what nourishes you. He removes what is draining you, even if you thought it was love, even if it felt safe, even if it felt familiar, even if letting go feels like breaking. You may not have seen the damage it was doing, but Allah saw it. He saw the way it dimmed your light. He saw the way it took peace from your heart. He saw how much you were compromising your worth. He saw how you were holding on to something that was quietly exhausting your soul. You were praying for strength. You were praying for clarity. You were praying for peace. So Allah removed what was standing in the way of those du'as, not to hurt you, but to heal you. Because sometimes healing begins with subtraction. Sometimes the blessing is not what Allah gives. Sometimes the blessing is what He takes away. If only you knew how many nights Allah saved you, and from crying even harder later. If only you knew how many times Allah blocked something that would have shattered you in ways you would not have recovered from. If only you could see the conversations Allah heard, that you did not hear, the intentions He saw that you could not see, the futures He knew that you could not imagine. You are not being abandoned. You are being protected. Allah did not remove what you needed. He removed what was consuming you, even if you loved it, even if you prayed for it, even if you gave your heart believing it would stay. You did not lose anything that was written for you, and what has left your life was never meant to remain. What is written for you is coming, but it needs room to enter. So Allah clears the path. He clears the heart. He clears your attachments. He clears the weight. He clears the illusions. So when the blessing arrives, you have the capacity to receive it. You may feel like something is missing, but Allah is actually making space. Because what is coming will not drain you. It will restore you. It will not break your heart. It will protect your heart. It will not make you beg to be understood. It will speak your soul's language without effort. You are not empty. You are being prepared. You are not abandoned. You are being realigned. You are not being punished. You are being rescued. Your tears are real. Your sadness is valid. Your silence is understood. But your story is not ending. It is just starting to shift into the chapter that was always meant for you. Your loneliness is part of the transformation. There comes a time in life where you feel like Allah has pulled you away from everyone. People you used to talk to suddenly feel distant. Places that once felt familiar now feel uncomfortable. Conversations that once excited you now feel empty. The world around you continues to move, but you feel like your soul has stepped into a different space entirely. You may be surrounded by people, but still feel unseen, still feel unheard, still feel misunderstood, and it hurts. It hurts because you remember a version of yourself who used to laugh easily, who felt connected, who belonged somewhere, who didn't have to explain their heart to be understood. But listen carefully. This loneliness is not a punishment. This loneliness is a divine transition. Allah is not isolating you to break you. Allah is isolating you to transform you. When Allah wants to change a person, He first pulls them away from the noise. You cannot transform in the same environment that wounded you. You cannot grow in the same atmosphere that kept you distracted. You cannot hear Allah when your heart is crowded with people. So Allah takes you into silence, not an empty silence, a sacred silence, a silence where the heart is forced to look inward, where distractions fall away one by one, where your soul begins to feel again, where you finally meet the version of yourself and you've been running from. This is why loneliness feels heavy, because you are sitting with your soul without escape. You are facing what hurts. You are confronting what you ignored. You are unlearning what was never yours to carry. And that is not easy. Transformation never is. When a seed is buried under the ground, it is alone, surrounded by darkness. No one sees it. No one claps for it. No one applauds its progress. But beneath the soil, it is breaking, so it can grow. It is becoming something new. That is what your loneliness is doing to you. You feel like you are being buried, but in reality, you are being planted. You are not disappearing. You are developing. You are not being forgotten. You are being prepared. Allah has taken you away from people so He can bring you closer to Him, because there are things Allah wants to teach your heart that cannot be learned in crowded rooms. There are levels of faith that can only be reached in silence. There are wounds that can only be healed when no one else is watching. Yes, it feels isolating. Yes, it feels uncomfortable. Yes, it feels like something in your life has paused. But what if this is the moment? Allah is rebuilding your core, your patience, your resilience, your clarity, your sense of self, your relationship with Him. Loneliness is not empty. Loneliness is full of Allah. And one day, you will look back at these quiet nights, these silent tears, these moments of sitting with your own soul, and you will say, "This is where Allah found me. This is where Allah rebuilt me. This is where I learned who I truly am." Your loneliness is not the end of your story. It is the rebirth of your spirit. The pain is temporary, but the growth is permanent. There are moments in life when pain feels endless, when it feels like your chest is carrying the weight of mountains, when every breath feels heavy and every step feels slow. You wake up tired. You go to sleep tired. You survive the day, but you don't really live it. You speak to people, but your heart is somewhere else. Silent, confused, exhausted. Pain has a way of making time feel slow. It makes you believe that this feeling will stay forever, like life will never return to softness, like laughter will never return to your voice, like peace will never touch your heart again. But listen, your pain is temporary. It may last days. It may last months. It may last longer than you expected, but it will not last forever. Pain arrives with an expiration date, even if you cannot see it yet, because pain is not meant to stay. Pain is meant to shape. Pain comes to transform your heart, to purify your soul, to wake something inside you that was asleep. And once that transformation begins, the pain starts to fade, but the growth stays. The softness stays. The wisdom stays. The maturity stays. The depth stays. The nearness to Allah stays. Pain leaves, but what it taught you becomes part of who you are. You learn things about yourself you never knew. You learn what your heart can survive. You learn how strong you truly are. You learn how much Allah has been carrying you all along, because your strength did not come from you. It came from Him. Your patience came from Him. Your survival came from Him. Your ability to hold yourself together when everything inside you wanted to collapse came from Him. You did not make it this far on your own. Allah supported you. Allah protected you. Allah held your heart when you could not. You thought you were breaking, but Allah was building you. You thought you were losing, but Allah was preparing you. You thought you were behind, but Allah was positioning you. Your pain was not random. It was instruction. It was rebuilding. It was awakening. There are lessons your heart can only learn through pain. There are strengths that only grow in darkness. There are wings that only form while you are broken. Pain teaches you how to love without losing yourself, how to trust Allah even when you don't understand, how to stand again after falling, how to find your way back when you feel lost. These are not small lessons. These are the lessons that change the direction of your life. And once you have learned them, you will never go back to who you used to be. This is why you cannot see the purpose while you are hurting, because the lesson is forming inside the pain. And when the pain finally leaves, you will realize something new has taken its place. A new heart, a wiser heart, a softer heart, a heart closer to Allah, a heart that sees life differently, a heart that knows how to love again, but with balance, a heart that knows how to let go when Allah says let go, a heart that knows how to trust Allah not sometimes, but always. The pain will pass, but the growth will stay forever. Your heart still lives. Listen closely now. There is something most people never realize about pain, about heartbreak, about heavy silent nights and quiet tears that fall without sound. These experiences are not here to end you. They are here to remind you that your heart still lives. Because a heart that feels pain is not dead. A heart that aches is not gone. A heart that trembles is not broken beyond repair. Your pain is a heartbeat, a sign of presence, a sign of life, a sign that Allah is still shaping you from the inside. Your heart has survived storms you thought would kill you. Your heart has endured losses that felt too heavy to carry. Your heart has gone through silent wars that nobody knows about except Allah. And you're still here, breathing, standing, continuing. That is not weakness. That is strength wearing humility. You think your heart is fragile because it breaks easily. But no, your heart is sacred because it feels deeply. The world teaches people to be hard, to numb their pain, to pretend they don't care, to bury their emotions under fake strength, to move like they have no heart at all. But you, Allah, did not create you to be numb. Allah created you with a heart that can feel love deeply, feel loss sincerely, feel faith even when it shakes, feel Allah even in the silence. That is not a flaw. That is your gift. The Prophet ﷺ had the softest heart. He cried, he cared, he felt everything, and Allah honored him for that softness. He did not shame him for it. Softness is not weakness. Softness is the language of the soul, and your soul is still alive. Even if you feel tired, even if you feel unseen, even if your voice shakes when you pray, even if your tears fall without control, even if you don't know how to put your feelings into words, your heart is still responding to life. Your heart is fighting to stay connected. Your heart is trying to find Allah again. That alone is a sign of life. Because the dead heart forgets Allah. The living heart misses Him. Maybe that's why your chest feels heavy lately. Because your soul is missing its source, and it is calling you back to Him. Not with loud sermons, not with sudden miracles, not with dramatic signs, but with something much gentler, a whisper inside your heart. A whisper that says, "Come back, don't give up. Your story is not over. Allah has not left you. You are still seen. You are still loved. You are still wanted. Your heart is still alive. Maybe you haven't been praying the way you used to. Maybe you feel distant from your faith. Maybe guilt has been eating you from the inside. Maybe the world has been louder than your soul. But if your heart still hurts, if your heart still longs, If your heart still feels that pull toward Allah, even weakly, then you have not been disconnected. You are simply being called back. Your heart is whispering that it remembers where home is. Home is not people. Home is not comfort. Home is not past moments. Home is not old love. Home is Allah. Your heart was made by Allah. Your heart was made for Allah. Your heart will never rest permanently anywhere except with Allah. This pain you're feeling right now is not a sign that something is wrong with you. It is a sign that your heart is awakening. Awakening from distraction. Awakening from numbness. Awakening from attachment. Awakening from illusion. Pain is not the death of your heart. Pain is the beginning of your return. Your heart is waking up. You can feel it in the quiet moments, when the world goes silent, when your phone is set aside, when the noise of everyone else fades, and suddenly you feel everything. Old memories, old wounds, old hopes, old prayers. They rise to the surface, not to hurt you, but to remind you there is a version of you that Allah still wants to bring back to life. Not the version of you that smiles for the world. Not the version of you that performs strength for others. Not the version of you that hides pain to avoid burdening anyone, but the real you, the one who used to sit with Allah in the quiet pillow dua moments, the one who once cried because of how deeply you loved him, the one who once felt faith not as information but as warmth. That version of you is not gone. It is just buried under exhaustion, under heartbreak, under disappointment, under confusion, under this world. But Allah is lifting you slowly, gently, patiently. Your soul is not returning to Allah in one step. Your soul is returning to Allah breath by breath, and every tear that falls is a step. Every whisper of Ya Allah is a step. Every time you try again, even after failing, is a step. Do you understand how beloved that makes you? The angels write, a servant is returning. Not a servant who never sinned. Not a servant who never fell. Not a servant who never broke, but a servant who is trying. Trying matters more to Allah than perfection ever will. Your heart is still alive because it still longs for peace. It still feels guilt when you slip. It still softens when Allah's name is mentioned. It still hopes, even a little, for better days. It still whispers prayers that no one hears but Him. This is not the behavior of a lost heart. This is the behavior of a loved heart. Maybe you think you've been distant. Maybe you think you've been careless. Maybe you think your faith has been weak. But if your heart still turns back even in small, trembling ways, then Allah has never let go of you. There is a secret mercy in this, because Allah could have let your heart die. He could have let you forget Him completely. He could have allowed your soul to harden forever. But He didn't. He allowed you to feel the weight of life so your heart would seek Him. He allowed your heart to break so it could open. He allowed loneliness so your soul would call for Him. He allowed endings so you would search for the one who is eternal. This is not abandonment. This is love in disguise. The kind of love only Allah gives. The kind of love that does not let your heart die, even when you stop taking care of it. So when your chest aches for no reason, when your eyes tear without understanding why, when your spirit feels pulled toward something higher, that is not sadness. That is your soul remembering Allah. It is saying, I miss my Creator. I miss my home. I miss the one who knows me deeper than I know myself. Your heart is still alive. It just wants to go home, not to a place, but to a state where your heart feels held, your soul feels anchored, your mind feels quiet, your sadness feels understood, your tears feel safe, your hope feels real. And that place is not found in the world, not in people, not in love that leaves, not in hands that slip away. That place is with Allah, and He is calling you there right now, softly, gently, lovingly, not with force, not with pressure, not with fear, but with a whisper that says, "Come back, you are still mine." There comes a moment in healing that is invisible to everyone else. Not when the tears stop, not when the pain disappears, not when the world becomes easier, but when your heart whispers, even if only for a second, "Maybe I will be okay." That moment is the beginning of your return. Your heart may still hurt. Your chest may still feel heavy. Your nights may still be long. But something inside you has shifted. It is the moment your soul recognizes that the pain did not kill you. It shaped you. It taught you what love is and what love is not. It taught you where to place your heart and where not to. It taught you that safety is not in people. Safety is in Allah. You are learning now, quietly, slowly, painfully, that everything you were searching for in others was always with Him. The comfort, the understanding, the gentleness, the absolution, the consistency, the mercy, the love that does not break you. Allah never left. You just drifted. Your heart chased something it hoped could replace Him. But nothing in this world can love you the way He does. And now, your heart knows. Now when you cry to Allah. Now when you speak from your soul. Now when you make dua, it comes from a real place. Not from habit, not from memory, but from truth. The pain carved out space inside you that is now being filled with sincerity. You prayed before, but now you pray from your core. You whispered His name before, but now His name is the only thing that steadies your breathing. This is not sadness. This is returning. There is a softness developing in you, a quiet strength, a maturity that pain gives to the heart, a depth that only tears can create, a clarity that only heartbreak can reveal. Before, you used to love with your wounds. Now, you will love with your wisdom. Before, you used to chase what glittered. Now, you are learning to recognize what is gold. Before, you accepted whatever your heart wanted. Now, you will only accept what your soul is at peace with. This is what growth looks like. Not loud, not sudden, not dramatic, but quiet, internal, invisible to others, miraculous to Allah. And you may not feel like you are improving. You may not see the growth as it happens, but every day your heart becomes a little softer, a little lighter, a little closer to Him. And soon, sooner than you realize, your heart will look back at this pain and say, "That was the doorway to my awakening." Not because you stopped hurting instantly, but because you learned how to hurt with Allah beside you. And when Allah is with you in your pain, you do not collapse, you transform. This is why your heart still hurts. Not because you are broken, but because you are rebuilding. And every moment your heart chooses Allah again, even tired, even lonely, even trembling. The angels write, "This servant chose Allah when it was hardest. There is no higher honor."